What do you want people to know about your your ancestor? Who was there?
Well, Romanovs, along with others, and certainly the most notable one is Okahater, Pendleton. People don't realize that it really affected our tribe in a couple of really substantial ways. One, the journey that they took to Fort Marion, as maybe hostile prisoners, not willing to go, to end up at the end of 3 years with Captain Pratt saying your term is up. You got a choice. You have a choice. You can come with me to go on to Hampton, or else you can go back to Oklahoma. And the majority of, well, not the majority, but the older prisoners who went to Fort Marion, they chose to come back to Oklahoma. And some of the younger ones, like Henry Romanos and Okahater, they chose to go with Captain Pratt to Hampton. And the storyline is from there. They stayed there a year, and Captain Pratt was able to get money, secure monies to establish Carlisle Indian School. So, they were part of the original journey, and they went to Carlisle and learned a skill. But that's in the education, and then we know the boarding school effect, because of Carlisle. Because of that, there were boarding schools set up throughout the nation. So Cheyenne Arapahoes had a part of that, history, but also the religious history, the Christianity part of it. If you can understand that, I tried to imagine my great-grandfather witnessing, as a young boy, his family being massacred, his relatives being massacred, to have such anger and, hostility, resulted in 6 scalps. I mean, you had to be really a angry person then to be captured and imprisoned and taken to Carlisle and introduced to other people. And I think that Henry Carruthers' wife, and along with others, they show a different part of the American society, and I'm not making judgment, and I know that they didn't just throw away their beliefs, but they accepted Christianity, and so that changed them. And if they didn't change them, they wouldn't have gone with Captain Pratt. Okahater now is known as a saint within the Episcopal Church, and so. When they came back to Oklahoma and they opened up the reservation, Christianity was already embedded into our tribe. But unfortunately, the Christianity concept that was introduced to Indians, not just Cheyenne Arapahoes, is more the same, the Captain Pratt, Carlisle history. And the motto that they always say was, kill the Indian, save the man. And in religion, that was the same way. Kill the Indian, save the man. And even in my experience, I was born in 1952, the Christian missionaries that were still in our area, they would say, if you want to be a Christian, then you have to give up everything about being an Indian. And that was in place for many years. It's not that way now, but that has created a barrier, historic barrier, that still our Indian people today, they still say, oh, we don't want anything to do with Christianity. But I think it's a tribute to my great-grandfather and others, like Okahater, to understand what they were giving us. And like I said, they didn't completely just say, all our religion was bad. They said, well, here's a new concept that we can adapt, we can understand, what they're talking about. So I think that's really unique.